speak a little bit first, some information about the previously lectures, because this is also the continue the subject that what I'm talking about today. Actually, in the First World War, the signal of the weakness of Ottoman Empire is started very large, very big, because Ottoman Empire lost many wars. The crisis inside the Ottoman Empire, also the political crisis. They are enter for the war against Italy, and also in Balkan wars, 2 wars happened, and after that they are supported German against the alliance in the First World War, and they are lost in many battles, many wars there. So for this crisis, who take the benefit of that? The great powers, Great Britain and France, because they saw the sick man, I mean the Ottoman Empire. This man started to be, he go to be dying, and there are many territories. It was under the domination of Ottoman Empire, and there are possibility to invasion this territory and take it from Ottoman Empire. So, for example, French occupied many party in the north of Africa. Great Britain sent these troops to the Mesopotamia. They started to occupy this land, started in 1914 in the part of the south of Mesopotamia, and started to defeat the military of Ottoman Empire, and they continue to occupy this land started until 1980. And after they expelled the military of Ottoman Empire for outside of the Mesopotamia, the Great Britain established one kind of the military administration in this land. But this situation don't accept for the people, because the people, they needed some kind of independence. They don't need it, replace it one power for another worse power. So they don't accept it, the Great Britain to dominate its territory. And this is show that many rebellion or many protest against the military in Great Britain, especially started one great rebellion happened in 1920 from the people of Iraq against the military of Great Britain. So not just from Iraq, also there is many rebellion happened against the powers, Western powers in this area. For example, in Syria happened also many protests against the military of France. So Great Britain tried to prevent this act from the people from very aggressive way. They're using air strikes. They're using the many kind of aggressive military against the people. But actually, it's cost too much for the Great Britain for part the economy, because Great Britain now has finished the First World War, spending too much from part the financial issues, and they don't ready to enter again another war against the people. But when they are finding the Iraq people don't accept this situation, they're using the power against them, and this power also costs too much for Great Britain. In this reason, Winston Churchill, for example, the government of the Great Britain the hand of the Winston Churchill, they are trying to analyze what happened in this area. They are trying to find some solution to keep this area peace under the dominate for great power. So he go to the Egypt, and he asked many experienced military people from British people, Arabic people, also Turkish people who supported the Grand Britain in this time. And they told them, okay, we make some kind of the conference in the Egypt. And this conference, they are trying to study what is the situation happening in this region. What kind of administration or what kind of government we can establish there to be this region a little bit quiet. So during 3 days, they are trying to study the possibility to keep this area a little bit peace. And they are suggested to divinate this area in many parts. Every part, they are pointed some kind of the board and giving the name of this part and nominated this part or make this part like a state, but a state under the control of Great Britain. So for example, in Iraq, they are putting the border of Iraq. And they told maybe Iraq, they are confined some kind of the regime there, but I think, or we are thinking, is better is put it like some kingdom there. Some example of the United Kingdom, but in the form of, on the way of Arabic way. And we suggested some people to be king there. But one of these people, they are thinking is better to put in this position is the one members of the Hashimi family. And the Hashimi family, I explained last lectures, is the dynasty of the family of the Prophet Muhammad. And this dynasty living in Arabia Saudi, in that time is Mecca, Najd, and Hijaz. And the leader of the great person who represented the family of Hashimi is al-Sharif Hussein, the governor of the Mecca. And in 1914, the governor of Mecca, he announced a revolution or rebellion against the Ottoman Empire. And the Grand Britain supported Sharif Hussein and his sons to make some kind of military action against the Ottoman Empire. So the son of Sharif Hussein, Faisal and Abdullah, they are ready to make this position. Faisal well, actually, to continue the idea. After the finish the First World War, there is many territory now outside the control of one empire. And this territory, there are some people, this is according what their international thought for this region. There are many people, they don't know how to manage ourselves, such like the form of the state. So the international powers thought, this is people here, they don't have the government. They don't know how can rules themselves. So we can help them by make them under the control of us, by the form of tutelage. Because we are, I mean, great power, we have the experience. We are great power, we are the winner of the First World War. So we have the experience to how can teach these people to manage themselves, to make themselves the process of the political democracy way. And after that, when they are ready to make themselves like states, like government, we give them the independence. But right now, they are not ready to be a form of the state or a form of the government. And this is process in this time is the system of mandate. The League of the Nation, according to the Article 22, put it this decision to give a great power who are winner of the First World War to be dominated of the territories which was in the past under the regime or under the control of Ottoman Empire. And they are trying to make some kind of tutelage over the people there. But this is situation I told you, they don't, the Arab people especially don't accept this form of the dominate, because they are also needed to prove themselves to be a new state, a new country. And after that, I told you, I explained there are some rebellion happened against the great power, against the Grand Britain, because the Iraq people, they don't need in this time some rulers from the Western power. They ask about own states, they ask about own government. So they are using the military or using the weapon against the military of the Grand Britain in Iraq, and there are many fighting there. It started in the south of Iraq. There are some groups of Shia people who represented the rebellion in this time, and this rebellion take too much time and cost too much for the Great Britain. So after the conference, what happened in Egypt, and they are suggested to put it Faisal ibn Hussein, ibn Sharif Hussein, the new king of Iraq, because Faisal was a great man. He was intelligent man. He supported Grand Britain during the rebellion or during the revolution against the Ottoman Empire. And Faisal first, he announced himself when he was entered Syria in 1918. He declared himself the king of the Syria. But unfortunately, Syria in this time was under the invasion also from the troops of French. And the French don't accept Faisal ibn Hussein make himself king of the Syria. So they are expelled Faisal outside the territory of Syria. Now, the Grand Britain think now Faisal, he was king without kingdom. We can give him the kingdom in Iraq and make him the position like king of Iraq. But if you are established a kingdom of Iraq, we don't leave this country. We still observing all the situation, all the political process in Iraq. We can make them a kingdom, we can establish the parliament of Iraq, we can establish a government of Iraq, but all this process, we should be rules, the administration of the Grand Britain, we should be rules of this country for our politicals. So Iraq, when they established the first kingdom in 1922, when Faisal nominated like king of Iraq, the country is still under the occupation of Grand Britain. And Grand Britain in this time, they don't ready to leave the Iraq, because Iraq is very great region in the part of the geographic area, in the part of the financial area, because they are started to find it there very important resource. the petroleum resource. They are finding the petroleum fields in the south of the Iran, in the part of the Arabistan. And now they are wanting also to try to seek another field in the part of Iraq. So they are thinking there are many fields in the part, especially in the north of Iraq. So Iraq is very important for the interest great power at this time. So Faisal, when the great power elect Faisal, like a king of Iraq, he went to the Iraq and made some kind of election there, referendum there, and he went to take many votes for the people of Iraq, especially from the Sunni people, because Iraq is divided many groups. Iraq is divided the Sunni and Shia, Kurdish, Armen, so there are many ethnic people living in this country. And the majority of the Sunni and almost the people of the Shia, they are accept Faisal like king of Iraq. Sunni, yes, they are think because Faisal, he was also one member of the part of the Sunni dictatorship, and they are accept him because he was also the religion characters belonging to the family of Prophet Muhammad. But Shia people, they have doubt about him because he came not from Iraq, he came from another part, from Arabian Peninsula. And he also is not from the Shia people. But wherever, they are choosing Faisal like king or new king of Iraq. And when they establish a new government there, this is new government also, they tried to make negotiation with the with the administration of the Grand Britain. Because they are needed some kind of deals with them. We don't just stay under the occupation of the Grand Britain. No, we needed some ability to manage ourselves. So in 1922, there are some treatment happened between Grand Britain and the new government of Iraq. This is the Anglo-Iraqi treaty in 1922. The treaty was designed to allow for Iraq self-government while giving a Great Britain control of Iraq's foreign policy. And also, the Anglo-Iraqi Treaty of 1922 prevent rebellion. This is very important point. The Grand Britain tried to prevent any act of military action against the troops of Grand Britain there. So they are trying to decide to put in some kind of the government, and this government we can deal with them, we can put in some rules, decision to be the people here a little bit quiet. And in the new Iraqi kingdom, by giving Britain direct control of the kingdom army and significant influence over the country's economic and political affairs. Yes, there are new government, new state, but without independence. This is the problem. This is because the Grand Britain now, they are control of the foreign affairs, they are control of the economic issues. They don't accept any kind of protests, any kind of opposition from the people or any person who try to ask them about independence. And Faisal, he knows that. He know now he don't have the great position or the great power to dominate the country, but try to make some kind of process with the Great Britain until they can find some solution to finding some kind of the form of independence. So Faisal tried to promote unity between Sunni and Shia to encourage common loyalty to the homeland. He tried to strengthen the Arabic National Project with the aim of establishing an Arabic state that will include Iraq, Syria, and the rest of the Fertile Crescent countries. In 1930, a treaty was concluded with the Great Britain called the Treaty of 1930, according to which Britain recognized the independence of Iraq from the British Crown and ended the Mandate States. So, about King Faisal. King Faisal, he have a nationalized concept. He thinking that Arab people should be unity. He thinking that Iraq and Syria and Palestine and all the people who represented the Arab people, should be unity in one country. This is the idea we try to work about that. The nationalities, Arabic nationalism. And also, inside, he tried to make some kind of unity between different kind of Iraqi ethnic people. The Iraq people is not easy to dominate this people because there are different ethnic. We can find it Shia people, we can find the Sunni people, Kurdish people, Arabian people, Christian people, Jewish people. So it's mixing, demographic mixing in this country. If you remember before 20, and this is a crisis still until now, after, I thought a little bit about the future, about more. In 2003, when the United States invasion the Iraq and finished the regime of Saddam Hussein, after 2 years happened in Iraq civil war between Shia and Sunni. And this is civil war continue almost 2 or 3 years, and many people die during this civil war. So the Iraq people until now, they are not have very strengthful of the unity, because they are every ethnic people try to get the power. Sunni people try to find some kind of the dominate of this country. Shia people in the government of Iraq, the members of the many parties who represent the Shia people, now they have the control of the political life of Iraq. Kurdish people also who living in the north of Iraq, they have some kind of autonomy. Now they have a private parliament, and they are also have many control of many economic fields, especially in the north of the country. So whatever, the Iraq and Grand Britain returning to this history, first they are make some kind of a treatment in 1922, and after 8 years, in 1930, there another treatment happened between the government who represented the King Faisal with the Great Britain, is the Treaty of 1930. The Treaty of 1930, it is the treaty of alliance between United Kingdom of the Great Britain and the Hashimi Kingdom of Iraq. 1930 treaty was based on early Anglo-Iraqi treaty in 1922, but took into the account Iraq's growing importance to the British interest due to the country's oil discoveries. In 1927, they find some field in the part of the north of Iraq. This is area named Kirkuk. And the Kirkuk field is now, until now, is very important field of the petroleum of Iraq. So I discovered the petroleum now in Iraq. According to this point, we should be make a new treaty, a new deals with the government of Iraq. We should be producers from Iraq. So they are finding some kind of the treaty in this time. Also give a path to the Iraq towards nominal independence after 2 years of the treaty at the end of the mandate. So the government of Iraq and also Faisal, they try to make any way to find some solution with the great power. He know the great power, Grand Britain, they don't leave Iraq such like that. They should be make some kind of negotiation with this great power until we can find it the independence. Okay, we can, you can, the great power, you can manage right now our economic, such like the oil field. You can also control of the army. You can training the officer, the soldiers of our armies, until we can find some way to get the independence. So the great power give promise, or Grand Britain give promise that Iraq they will take the independence after 1932. This is according to the deal what happened between great power and Iraq. But actually, great power, Grand Britain, tried to make some kinds of the point of these treaties. One of these points is to facilitate the treat of the military in this area if there are any war happen in the Europe or the new world war happen in this time. So the government of Iraq give the promise to put the Iraq is like bridge to the armies of Great Britain to enter if they have necessary to go to the war in this time. So this is a new treaty between Great Britain and Iraq, because the situation now almost is changed. The economic situation now is changed because they are finding the petroleum. In 1930 until 1932, there are some tension in Europe between German, the French, and the Grand Britain, because now German, the Nazi party started to rise in the government of German. So this is make the Grand Britain a little bit worried about the tension what happened in Europe. Also Russia now, they are trying to find some kind of the way to go inside the Arabic Gulf. This is very worried, very threatened of the interest of Grand Britain in this time. So in good way to find some kind of the deal with the Iraq to facilitate the treaty, the transport military to this area if they are having any crisis or any war in this time. So the mandate system is in Iraq, and Iraq take the independence enter of League of the Nations in 1932. But there's one operation happened inside of Iraq. I tried to mention this operation happened against the Armenian people. During the region of King Faisal, the Iraq government carried out organization liquidation operation against the Ashurian military in the north of Iraq, which was more attention or more aggression is between August 8 until 11 in 1932. 33, sorry. This is the problem of Ashurian people. It started many years in this area. If you remember also, this is the Ashurian people is the minority in this area. And they are trying, during the Ottoman government, they are trying to make some kind of autonomy. And the Ottoman government, when they started the First World War, they thought the Armenian people is like traitor. They are supported Western power against the Ottoman Empire. So the military of Ottoman Empire sent many troops to liquidation of the Armenian people in different parts, different villages there, and genocide happened in this area. So there are still many families outside the territorial of Ottoman Empire, and many people came to the north of Iraq. Great Britain tried to benefit for this situation. They are take many young people or the people who have interest of the military action and try to treat them, enter them, make them such like the militia from Armenian people inside the groups of the Grand Military of Great Britain to fighting the Ottoman Empire in this area. But when the First World War finished, the Armenian people find themselves now is in one area is not belonging to the Ottoman Empire, not belonging to the Iraq, so they don't have the identification. And the Great Britain, when the Armenian people support Great Britain told them, when the First World War finished, we can give to you some kind of autonomy. This is promised not continue, because Great Britain, they have, with our great powers, we have another plans to divination this area and control this area. So the Armenian people, they are living in the north of Iraq. They are trying to prove themselves. During the government or during the rules of the King Faisal, the Armenian people try also to take more of the right for themselves, like the citizen or like the people have the right to living like autonomy in this area. But the Iraq government, they don't accept that. They told all the territory is belonging to the Iraq states, and we don't allow any act to take some kind of the autonomy. And also, they told, they asked the government to make more members of the parliament of Iraq. And the government of Iraq, they don't accept that, because they told you are the minority, you don't, the estimate of Armenian people is not too much, so we can't allow or we can't give you more representative in the parliament. So in this reason, many peoples left the north of Iraq, go to the Syria to find some kind of area to establish one form of the autonomy. In Syria also, there are French people, French military, and the French military also try to give the Armenian people some kind of the weapons to make some kind of the tension from this area. Because the French try also to find some kind of interest of this part, and when they are giving some kind of the weapon to the Armenian people use this weapon also against the Iraq people or against the Great Britain. And when they are going again, returning again to the Iraq, they are go to many villages who belong to Kurdish people, and they are kills many people in the north of Iraq, especially from the Christian or Kurdish people. So the government of Iraq, when they are here, there's some kind of operation act happened in the north of Iraq. They are sending also armies there and enter many villages of Armenian people, and genocide happened. They are killed many people. One of the famous of massacres happened in the village name is Similia. They are closed this area, this village, and take all the women and all the people, all the children, go put it in one building belonging to the police of the government of the states, and executed all these people. They estimated total is between 600 and 6,000 people died in this massacre. So this is massacre happened during the Prime Minister Bakr Siddiqui. So in 1933, Iraq Kingdom joined to the League of the Nation, and after that, King Faisal tried to go to the Europe to make check of this health, but in Europe he was died there in heart attack. And Faisal, King Faisal, they have his son Ghazi, and Ghazi nominated like or succeeded him like the new king of Iraq. Well, King Ghazi, the characters of King Ghazi is different from his father. The idea what he having is almost similar. He have the nationalized idea also. He thinking the Arab people, we should be unity in one country. But they are not, because King Ghazi, he grew up in Arabian Peninsula with his, with the family, in the house of his grandfather Sharif Hussein. So he saw what happened there, that Great Britain, they don't promise, or they don't follow his promise to give Arab people the unity in this time. So he think that Great Britain, we should be not trust from there. So he had the idea that he make some kind of unity of Arab country, and we should be make some kind really independence, not make the Great Britain dominated our lives, because Great Britain never give up of our countries. I remember, this is the King of Ghazi, I remember when I child, when they are trying when they are the grand power promised to Sharif Hussein, my grandfather, to give the independence or make Sharif Hussein like king of Arab nation. But after that, Great Britain and France divination this area in different parts and take the control of all the life. So King Ghazi, he don't trusted of Great Britain during his government. So actually, the government during the King Ghazi is also, there are some members of the government thinking that we should be take the independence, especially the people who have the nationalist idea. But another part of the government of during the rule of the King Ghazi, they don't know we are not ready to take all the control of the country. We should be stay supported the Great Britain, Grand Britain, to manage our country. So there are two parts. One part needed the independence, and another part talking, no, we are not ready right now to make this country, to manage this country alone. But actually, there are some coup happened during the reign, the king of Ghazi is the coup of Bakr Sirti. This is the first coup military happened in our country. Bakr Sirti is officer in the military of Iraq. He thinks the government of Iraq is corrupt. And they are always under the influence, the government of Iraq, under the influence of Great Britain. So the military officers, such like Bakr Sirti, they don't accept this situation. So they are decided to make some kind of the coup against the government of al-Hashimi, and to change the government and make the dominate of the political life of Iraq. So they are make some kind of operation, enter the capital of Baghdad, and change the government, and Bakr Sirti declare himself like Prime Minister of the Iraq in this time. This is the first coup happened in Arab country, the coup of Bakr Sirti. And King Ghazi, because Bakr Sirti have some kind of nationalities idea, he told, okay, I will support you what you are doing, because also King Ghazi don't trust of the government. This government is manipulated in the hand of the Great Britain. But actually, the government of this coup not continue too much, because Bakr Sirti he tried to visit Turkey to enter some conference there. He went to the north of Iraq, and we go to some hotel there. And in this one morning, when he take the breakfast, there are some soldier or some person came near of him and shooting his hand and killed him. So the coup ended when the leader of this coup, Bakr Sirti, died in this time. Also, there are another things. Because King Ghazi, he don't trust of Great Britain. He thinks that the German, maybe they are coming and support us to finish the occupation of Great Britain for our country. So he gets some kind of sympathetic feeling from the parties, fascist party or Nazis party in Germany. He thought that Hitler, maybe he will coming and help the people in Arab country to finish the dominate of the Great Britain in this time. And also because they think that Great Britain, they are stealing our country. They are stealing the oil. They are stealing all the history of Iraq, and they are don't continue their promise for leaving this country alone. So actually, he put some kind of the radio station in his palace, and he all the time, when he have some kind of the feeling very, very good, they thought he will drink too much, and when he was drunk too much, he go to this radio station and speak a very aggressive way against that imperialism, against Great Britain, and they told we should be take the independence, we should be make the all Arab people like unity, and also he mentioned about some emirates in the south of Iraq, I mean Kuwait. Kuwait actually in the history of this area, Kuwait one part of the territorial of Iraq, and Kuwait right now they have many fields of the petroleum. It's very rich country, but in the past during the Ottoman Empire, the Ottoman Empire administration told that administration of Iraq, the territorial of Mesopotamia, also Kuwait is one part of this area. But Great Britain, because they are needed to definition this area in different parts to make easy for them to control of this area, they supported the Emirates, they supported the Sheikh of Kuwait, and they told him, we can give you some kind of autonomy, and after that we can give you some kind of protection against any military of Iraq, and after that we can give you the independence like state. So King Ghazi, when he speak by the radio station, he asked to return Kuwait to the Iraq again, because Kuwait is one part of the territorial of Iraq. After many years, in 1990, during the government of Saddam Hussein, Iraq occupied Kuwait in 9 months. And this is the reason what happened in 1991. The first Gulf War happened in Iraq, when the United States and the alliance of the international powers attacked Iraq in 1991. The reason is when the Iraq military occupied Kuwait and retained Kuwait to the Iraq again. So King Ghazi, he will speak about the unity. He speak about finish the dominating of the Great Britain. He speak about retaining Kuwait, the part of the Kuwait again to the territorial of Iraq. But I told you, King Ghazi, his character is very complicated. Some writer told he was a little bit unstable. Sometimes he was aggressive. He drank too much, driving too much. He liked sport also. So one day he take his car and driving too very fast, and he's shocking some ball of the electricity, and this ball go up in this hand and broke his hand and he died. Actually, many writers talking about his accident, they told maybe Great Britain, they are sending some people to kill King Ghazi during when he was driving, because some people thought he saw some guy near of him. They thought maybe they are serviceman or serviceman for him, but this is guy after that he disappeared. They don't find it any person. Also, there are another political important personnel in the government of the Ghazi. His name Nouri al-Said. He was taking the many times position like the prime minister. Nouri al-Said is very famous characters in Iraq in this time. This man is very strong, but he have loyalty to the Great Britain. He think the Great Britain now we should be supporting Great Britain, because we are learned until now we are needed the Great Britain to manage ourselves, our political life. So King Ghazi, he don't like Nouri al-Said, the prime minister. and some story told that Nur Said, he sent some killers and they are killed King Ghazi when he was driving the car. However, King Ghazi died, but he had just one son, the second Faisal. And this son is small, he had almost 4 years, so he can't, he can't make this son like a new king, so they are offered his cousin Abdullah make his like the tutelage of his son until his son take the age of 18 and be in the formal way the king of Iraq. Now the government of the rules of Iraq rules by Faisal II of Iraq. When his father died, he was just 4 years, but his uncle Abdullah take the position like regent of the king until the king finish his age 18 years, and after that the King Faisal II take the rules of Iran. We can take the break a little bit and we will continue. So we have now a new king, but the new king, he has just 4 years. And the government of Iraq chose his uncle, Abdullah, like the regent of the crown. And also, now the state have dominated by 2 persons. The Prince Abdullah and Nur Said, because Nur Said is very strong man. He take the cabinet of the Iraq government 9 times, and he know how can to dominate, how can to manipulate the political life in Iraq. Nur Said, his history is very old because he was a soldier in the Ottoman armies, share with the Ottoman armies with different part of the combat. And also he shared with the nationalist people who take the independence for Ottoman armies. And he came with the Prince Faisal and take the position many times in the different ministries in the cabinet of the King Faisal. And during the King Ghazi, he was disagree with the King Ghazi, because I told the King Ghazi had the concept of nationalities. He needed to finish the dominate of Great Britain, but Nur Said, he was the man of the Great Britain. So he have some kind of the conflict between Nur Said and King Ghazi. And when a King Ghazi died, Nur Said and Prince Abdullah take the power to dominate all the political and economic life in Iraq. But in 1941, actually, because there are also some kind of the influence happened from Germany to this area, especially over the people who ask about independence, who ask about finish the dominate of Great Britain. So the German also try to support the people, the nationalist people in different parts. And one of the person who get the cabinet also, like Prime Minister in this time, al-Gaylani. And Rashid al-Gaylani, he was a political man, a nationalist man. He has sympathy with the German because they think the German can win the war, Second World War, and finish the imperialism of the Grand Britain. And also there are many soldiers, many officers, they have the same concept. They needed the finish of the control of Nouri Said and Prince Abdullah over the war. So there are some kind of the coup, very important coup in the history of Iraq. This is the coup in 1941 when the soldier, when the officer take the power to the cabinet of Iraq and finishing the previous cabinet and changing the government of Iraq in the hand of Rashid Ali al-Gaylani. So Rashid Ali al-Gaylani, I told he's very important personality, political man, and he also tried to finish the imperialism over the Iraq, finish the military or finish the domination of Great Britain, and also he don't allow the political people who supported the Grand Britain to steal, to take the country in the hand of the great power. And al-Gaylani formed it, so when he take the power with the military officers, he formed a new government, the government of national salvation during the Second World War. And there are 4 military officers who have a very important role in this time to make this coup. This is for the Golden Square group headed by Colonel Salah al-Din al-Sabah, and they are represented by Colonel Jamal Shadid or Kamal Shadid, Colonel Fahmi Saeed, and Colonel Muhammad Salman, and Yusuf al-Sibai. But actually, when they are announcing a new government in Iraq, the family of the King of Faisal with the new Said, they are filled outside the country. And Great Britain, they don't allow such like that because Iraq now is very important area. Now the Second World War is very aggressive military action happened in the Europe, and Germany tried to enter in this area by the part of the north, especially in the part of the north of Iraq. And if there are German finding some government supported there, maybe Great Britain they lost it, this area. So they don't accept any operation, military operation against Great Britain in the Middle East. So they are facing the army of Iraq in the combat, and after that, after many days, the Great Britain gave the control again over the country, and all the people, including Rashid al-Gaylani, they are except outside the country, and the royal family, Prince Abdullah and his cousin, and his nephew, Faisal II, he came return again to the country, and also Nouri Said, he returned again to the country and formed a new government in his hand. And after that, after the Second World War is finished, a new treatment happened between Iraq and Great Britain. Is the treatment in 1948 the Portsmouth Treaty. The Iraqis began negotiating to the British with a wall from the country, and the treaty called the Portsmouth Treaty was signed in 15 January 1948. The treaty proved for the establishment of a joint British and Iraqi defense council that will supervise Iraqi military planning. Actually, because the First World War, when they are finished, now another war happened, the Cold War. So, Great Britain, they are afraid that there are some kind of the communist influence happening in this part, because there are many people have the concept of nationalities, and also the influence of Soviet Union started a little bit great in this area. There are many parties who represent the communist ideological, now established after the Second World War. So Great Britain now, they are worried because maybe they are lost in this area in the hand of the Soviet Union or in the hand of the nationalist people. So, after the Second World War, Iraq was in the state of the economic decline. Nouri al-Said and the regent Abdullah were consist opposition to each other and failed to agree on balanced economic policy and infrastructural improvement for or other internal reforms. Iraq was suffering from a state of massive inflation and a low standard of living for to the Iraq citizen. So actually, during the rule of the King, the Faisal II, there are some competition between Prince Abdullah and Nouri Said. They are have everyone they needed have the dominate. They needed to have the control of the country. But this agreement between Nouri Said and Abdullah affected the life of the Iraqi people. The economy is very bad. The education also is not very well. And the military now, also the military of the Great Britain, they are observing all the act of the military way. So this is effect of the normal Iraqi man. They don't have it necessary of the life for supporting their family, because the family of the state right now, the economy of the state is not stable. The corrupt of the government make many crises of the political and economic life in the Iraq. So, Faisal's rules has become weak and out of the control of the country, though the economic liquidity, the rise of the communist forces, anti-imperialist sentiments, and the rise of Arab nationalities. So the crisis of Iraq, it was inside the Iraq and also outside of Iraq. The economic is very bad. The nationalist people now is growing because Iraq, in the part of the education, during the kingdom, the system of Iraq, they are established many, or they are open many schools for Iraq. Yeah, the education in Iraq in this time depending for the intellectual people.
the people who study, for example, in Syria, Palestine, Lebanon, they are came and work in Iraq. And this is people when they came and work in Iraq, they get the ideas of nationalities. Because Lebanon, right now, I mean Palestine, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, the sentiment of the nationalities is very, very big in this time. And the people, intellectual people who have this concept, they are coming in Iraq, try to teach the student about the important idea of nationalities, important idea of Arab unity. So this is make some kind of opposition against the regime. So the educated people, the intellectual people inside Iraq now also make some kind of opposition against the monarchy of Iraq. On the other hand, also the influence of the Soviet Union, the communists, now started in this country. They are established parties, many parties, who have the ideas of the communists. And this is very dangerous of the monarchy of Iraq. This is inside of Iraq. But outside of Iraq, the charisma, the characters of Jamal Abdel Nasser, the president of the Egypt, will be very influenced over the Arab people. Now the president of Egypt have the power, have the very important concept talking about the Arab unity and nationalism. So this is idea take very charming of all the people who have this concept. In 1956, Jamal Abdel Nasser decided to nationalize the channel of the Suez, because he told the channel of the Suez is belonging the Egypt people. And during many years, the great powers such like France, Great Britain, take the benefit, the advance of this channel. So in 1956, Abdel Nasser decided to nationalize it, this channel, and make some kind of administrate of this channel representing the Egypt people. And this is a decision from the nationalizing the channel of the Suez, don't accept it from Great Britain or France. So they are decided to fighting Abdel Nasser to make a war against him. Who's standing with the great power in this time? The enemy of Abdel Nasser, Israel. So three great power, or two great power, France and Great Britain, with the Israel, take the decision to attack Abdel Nasser, to retain the channel of the Suez to the great power, to remove Abdel Nasser of the power of Egypt. But actually this is this is a crisis. The crisis of Suez don't successful because Abdel Nasser is still in the hand, still in the power of the Egypt. He don't lose the war. In the part of the military, yes, he loses the battle of the Suez, but in the part of the political, he got the successful. He made the successful because he's still in the hand of the government of the Egypt. And this war is finished because United States with the Soviet Union take the decision to stop this war. The victory of Abdel Nasser in 1956 made very influence over the Arab country. They said, now look to the Egypt. There are some president there representing the Arab people, standing in front of great power and not defeating, not finishing. So this is very important example. We needed to take some kind of this example. So Abdel Nasser have influence for all Arab people. And also in 1956, the Iraqi people, or nationalist people, they don't agree with the government of Iraq, because the government of Iraq take the support it for the great power and make some kind of treaty organization. Is the Pact of Baghdad. It's such like the cooperation between Iraq, Iran, Pakistan, and Great Britain in this time for different fields, for example, military fields, economic fields, education fields. But this is the original, the reality of this pact is make some kind of the anti-communist against the Soviet Union, because Great Britain and United States, they don't want the influence of the Soviet Unions in this area. So they are established different kind of organization or treaties in different part of the world. One of these treaties is the Pact of the Baghdad, because they needed some kind of the blocked against the influence of the communists in this area. One of this organization is the Baghdad Pact. But the Arab people or the Iraqi nationalist people, they don't agree. This is kind of the treaties between Iraq and Great Britain, or Iraq with the United States, because they thinking they were Iraq is still under influence of the Great Britain until now. So I explained that the situation now, crisis in this area, because inside there are many people have the concept of nationalities, and outside also, because now the influence of Jamal Abdel Nasser, like president of Iraq, makes too much influence over the Arab people. So the Iraq, when they are so, there are some military people or officer people take the power in Egypt in 1952, when the freedom officers make some kind of the collapse against the monarchy of Egypt and take the control of Egypt and change the system or the rules of the Egypt from the monarchy to the republic. This is one of the great revolution happened in one Arab country. So the officer, for example, in Iraq, Syria, they needed, or they thinking that we can doing the same things. So the officers of Iraq, they have this kind of influence of what happened in Egypt and try to make the same example what happened in Egypt. So they are deciding to make some kind of rebellion against the monarchy. Also inside the Iraq, there are many people have the concept of nationalities, concept of communists also. They make some kind of the unity, because now the enemy is one. The enemy is Prince Abdullah and Noor Said, because they are manipulated the political life there, and also the Great Britain, because they are still of all the economic life of our country. So Abdel Nasser in 1958 he made some kind of the union with the Syria and created one state, the Arabic Union State. And this is a union, the family of the Hashimi is represented of Faisal in Iran, and King Hussein in Jordan, who was the cousin of Faisal. They decided to make also union, because they are afraid there are some union happening between republic countries, such like Iraq, such like Egypt and Syria. And the republic concept maybe is very, very dangerous for the states who have the monarchy regime. So they are decided to make some kind of the union between two families, the family of Hashimi, make the union of the family of the Hashimi between two kingdom of Iraq and the kingdom of Jordan, and make some kind of a unity. This is named the Hashimi Federation. But actually, after this is the kingdom of the unity between two Hashimi, no started too much. Because there are some crises happen in this area, especially in Lebanon. The government of Lebanon, Camille Chouan, the prime minister, he supported the great power. He supported Great Britain. He supported United States. And the government of the Commission in Lebanon, there are many parties, many members who have the concept of the communist, trying to take the government there, changing the government of the Commission. So if the Lebanon go in the hand of the Soviet Union, is this very dangerous for the great power, especially from the United States, that the United States in this time in the Cold War, and they are not ready to lose it, the Middle East in the hand of the Soviet Union. So Commission on the Prime Minister of Lebanon, they are asked some support from the United States to bring some troops in Lebanon and put it himself like the Prime Minister again in Lebanon. But this is act when the troops in United States, the Marines of United States, go in Lebanon. In another part, the King Hussein is afraid because maybe this is act, maybe he will lose the kingdom of the Jordan here, because now there are some conflict near of his part between the nationalists, communists. United States is very near. They are sending troops in Lebanon. Another side, there are some rising of the concept of nationalism from the Egypt, represented from the Jamal Abdel Nasser, and this is very dangerous because this is represented the republic way, and the republic way, what I tell, is very opposite from the monarchy. So King Hussein, he was afraid to lose his monarchy, to lose his position like king of the Jordan. They asked his family in Iraq, because we have now unity between two countries, they asked him to support by the army to come to the Jordan and support him if there are any act of rebellion against him. So King Faisal and the government of the King Faisal, they asked the military to send some troops in Amman, in the Jordan, the capital of the Jordan. But this is the troops, actually, because the leaders of these troops, they don't accept, they rejected the order. They told them, okay, we don't go to the Jordan, we go to the Baghdad and fill down the palace of the king there and changing the monarchy. So the troops of the military go without, they are not go to the Jordan, they are go to the Baghdad and surrounded the palace of the King Faisal and ask the family to go outside the palace and surround it. Actually, King Faisal, when he saw there are many military troops around him, he decided to surround it himself without using any force, without using any combat, because he was peaceful man. He's still young, and he don't need blood. This story is very dramatic. If you read this story, this boy is there. He don't have violence. He's very quiet boy. But the problem is that his uncle. He manipulated the political life. He still the country. The problem of the Prime Minister Nouri Saeed or the cabinet of the government who rules the Iraq people in bad way, but is not cause or is not fault of this young man. The problem is now the military surrounded the palace and asked him to go outside, and King Faisal with his family, all his family, including his uncle, Prince Abdullah, they go in the garden, they put his hand up, and they thought, okay, we don't need blood, we don't need any fighting, we are surrounded. But the problem, there are some military shooting him and kill him in the garden of the palace inside the Baghdad, and kill all the family of the monarchy of Iraq. So after that, also when the Nouri Saeed, the Prime Minister, heard what happened about the king, what happened about Abdullah, he left, he escaped in the city, different part of the houses inside the Baghdad, and he put the dress like women, the dress of the clothes of the women, and he tried to go in another safety house in the street. One of the soldiers recognized him and he said, "Oh, this is Nouri Saeed, he's here, catch him." And he tried to escape, but the people and some soldiers catching him, and one officer, when he recognized his face, he shooting him and kill him also. So for this is dramatic story, what happened in the monarchy of Iraq. They are finished the time of the monarchy and started a new time, is the Republic of Iraq. When there are the rebellion people or the rebellion officer take the dominate or the charge of the government in Iraq and declare Republic of Iraq in 1958. Well, thank you very much for your listen, and if you have any question.